Hi everyone, and welcome to the Cuomo Realms Playtest Tuesday. I know it's been a while since you've seen this face because I've been busy as hell, but I'm really happy to be here with our first ever pre-recorded Playtest Tuesday. Hopefully this goes off without a hitch, but who knows? Anything's possible if you just believe. This week's game is Zin Never Dies, which is a dark fantasy tabletop game in which we will see many a fun and exciting character based off of Studio Ghibli movies, The Witcher, other sorts of beloved fantasy series and tales. It has some amazing art. Make sure you check out the link to the Kickstarter in the description box. What am I thinking? I'm thinking that there's a couple of little logistical things that I want to tell you guys about, and then I'm going to pass it over to my players and Nemo, our game designer. The things that I want to quickly tell you are that there was, toward the end, a little bit of a technical difficulty because the video cut out but the sound stayed on. So just, treat it like an audio drama if you get to that part. Sorry about that. And the other thing is that there are occasional moments where I was talking to the players and they can hear me, but you can't. And so it seems like they're talking to a ghost, but I promise they're not crazy. They're just talking to me. And I am sorry for that. But que sera, sera. These types of things happen. I hope you guys enjoy our episode of Playtest Tuesday, Zin Never Dies. I'm going to pass it over to Nemo. Woo!
Hi. Hello, everyone. I'm Nemo. I've got four and one ghost. Four players here, and we're going to play test Zin Never Dies, which is a game that I made, with a lot of people's help. But I made it, and it's on Kickstarter right now. So you can go there to kickstarter./zinneverdies./com something, probably. You'll find it. And give me all your money. So we've got four players. You'll be surprised. Like 3 people gave the highest tier, which I put up there as a joke. So that was encouraging. We've got 4 players, which I'll introduce in a second, and the game system. And the way it's going to go today is we're going to do a quick teaching thing. We've briefly gone over the rules, but I'll reintroduce them for everyone. We'll make our characters real quick and then do a quick one-shot adventure. So I'll let the players introduce themselves, like a 1-sentence, name, pronouns, sentence about yourself, favorite animal, whatever you choose. Starting with Toby.
Hi, name's Toby. I am, funnily enough, the only one here that has some experience with Z&D. I helped.
Never dies. That's the inside lingo for the people at home.
Yeah, sorry. So yeah, I've participated in a couple playtests before, including a 2-year campaign, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's about it. Not much to say.
Not even a favorite animal?
Oh, do I have to pick one?
Yes.
Ooh.
You can pick the bird that is your logo if you want.
Sure. Well, we'll go with that. Yeah, I'm quite fond of birds, corvids specifically.
So tower dwellers are your favorite bird. That's a good piece of lore to get into.
Yeah, sure.
Next up, Alice.
Hi, I'm Alice. Pronouns are she, they. I'm actually new to Zen Never Dies. Well, most of us are, but, I've played a lot of other systems, and, I am, I am the anime nerd of the group. That's all you get.
Nice. Fair enough. Betsy,
Hello.
shine. The floor is yours.
Yes. Hi, I'm Betsy. My pronouns are she, they. I've done a couple different Playtest Tuesdays with Rose, and we also did a paranoia campaign together, which was really fun. And my favorite animals are bears,
Which bear is the best bear?
specifically brown bears. I like them best. They're just
They are
really
good bears.
right? They're good bears.
Yeah. And Steven.
Hello, I am Steven. This is my first Playtest Tuesday. First time playing Zen Never Dies, but being the person that I am, I have already tried to do character creation and all that because I have to be doing something always. Oh God, favorite animal. I don't know. I guess dogs just because I have one and he's closest, but I like them all if they like me
Not
well
a bad
enough.
answer. I like dogs. Wish I could have a dog right now, but the apartment that you see behind me is literally all there is. And I don't like tiny dogs. I'm afraid I'll accidentally step on them.
They're also just like unnecessarily aggressive, tiny dogs. Just
They've got a normal dog's level of aggressiveness, but they're much smaller, so the density of aggressiveness is just it has to get out.
the
much
density
more.
of aggressiveness. It's a good phrase.
They're just because you can't get rid of the dogness, but if you just anyway, it makes sense visually in my head. All right, so I'm going to give you you in the audience, a quick little pitch of the world as we are entering it. Zin Never Dies is a role-playing game in a world that's inspired by lots of different things: Ghibli, The Witcher, many, many, many folk tales that I've collected in little binders, and lots of things basically to invoke the feeling of things being charming, cute, adorable in that Ghibli way, and also that Ghibli way, very mysterious, frightening, spooky. The marriage of those two things, which you can probably see if you're in the stream. That little fella down there somewhere, which is a masked fella, one of the playable species. They're cute, they're adorable. They wear a bone white mask with 3 holes in it that they never take off, or people start kind of imploding. So it's a marriage of adorable and also a bit spooky. The world has ended several times now. Last time, probably shouldn't worry about it. It was 1,000 years ago, so we've got at least 4,000 ahead of us. It's on a pretty steady rhythm so far, 5,000 each. And it's pretty much always the fault of the gods, which is the reason why we don't really talk about them. They like picking their champions, heroes. If you read any fairy tales, knights will be heroes of gods, Skyrim style, all that. And that worked really well for a while until people realized that when everyone goes off on adventures and become champions of the gods, things tend to explode and epic battles happen, and that's really bad for farming and like local businesses and whatnot. So today things are chiller, or at the very least appear to be. People will attempt to maintain their life of mundanity because drama draws the attention of the gods, and wherever the gods go, trouble follows. Our game is going to take place at present time, which is about 1,000 years into the 4th era. Somewhere down, if you have the map, it might be thrown on the screen, might not. I'm not sure how the setup will happen. But down at the bottom of the map, of the world map, there's this vast, wide land called Lunas. Most of it, the parts we're going to play in, are pretty tropical, very warm, especially this time of year. And that's where we're going to be. We're going to be in an area not too far from the ocean. That's a warm little valley, is at least where we're headed in this short adventure. The species available to you are also unique. You won't find them in other games. The masked, as I mentioned, are one of them. But different ones are Nook, who are kind of distorted masked. They were masked once, but they have the mask would say fallen away from the path, but the Nook would say gained independence. And so their mask would be morphed in unique ways. Some will have a horn, some will have weird little spikes on the back to kind of bring out individuality. They're more connected to the earth than to magic. They're tower dwellers, bird folk with no arms, because why would bird folk have arms? Hardened, giant humanoids, so giant in fact that they can barely pick up any small objects, but strongest does not prevent them from also being the smartest species. There are humans who aren't what we think of as humans. They've got antlers to mark their probably ill-fated alliance with the gods way, 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 way back. One of the gods is the Great Stag, so symbol there. And who am I forgetting? Oh, the Feyborn, sort of leopard-esque people who occupy the West. You'll meet lots of those because we're kind of in the Western area. You probably won't meet any of this last species. You might play them, but probably won't meet lots of them, very few. They're the suits. They are very large forest slugs in a suit of armor. So it'll be a human-looking suit of armor, and then instead of a helmet, it'll be a little slug head poking out with two little feelers. Being condensed into that space of the suit allows them to do much finer motor actions. The disadvantage is that if they ever lose the suit of armor, they're just a slug. They can do very little. They can do diplomacy, but they are a slug. Anyway, so that's that. I'm going to go quickly over the mechanics, then we'll build our characters. But before we do, I wanted to know if anyone had a specific species that they already was winking at them, was calling out for them. Steven, you got your pencil up? Masked?
Mm-hmm.
Good. That's at least one. I always make sure there's at least one mask on every team. At least. You can still pick them, the rest. Just making sure you know. All right. Masked. How about you, Betsy?
I want to be a suit.
Yes. You got the hand.
Yes.
You got the hand. They got it.
It just looks so cute. I'm looking at the picture and I'm just like, it's so cute. I want to do it.
They're great. They're big and strong, but they're a slug, and they're just. The first person to ever play a suit was a player in a campaign of mine who was a bodyguard and a poet, and it would split their time between being a bodyguard and a poet. Didn't have any weapons. Was just a pure brawler, and they wrote. Their name was Jelani. They shortened it to Gel, or Jelly for their friends, and they wrote slime poetry. That's what they said.
I love that.
Very good. I gave him a special role in the Z&D Discord as the original slime boy. So that's good.
God.
All right, so we got a mask, we got a suit. Toby, you've played Tower Dwellers before. Who are you going to play today? Could be a Tower Dweller still.
Yeah, good question. I have a few characters on my mind.
Mhm.
Honestly, I have a character idea for almost every species at this point, but
You wanna roll it?
no, I think like the ones I'm fond of the most are either a Tower Dweller or Masked. So, yeah.
All right. So we got some time to decide. That's good to
Yeah.
know. Alice, any species calling your name?
Yeah, I was looking at two of them, Masked and Nuck. Since we have a Masked, I think I'll go with Nuck.
Perfect. I'll mark that. Okay, Nook, Masked, Suit, and Mystery, which we have time to figure out, so that's fine. I'll mark that. And now that I know which species we have, I can go slightly more in depth to how we're going to do. Let me write that down. And that's Masked. Steven, and Betsy's a suit. Okay. Now, I want to tell you a little bit about how the game is played. You have the quick start guide, and the people at home, you can get it for free. Go to zinneverdies.com. It's the free download link right there. That's 2 N's. Zin never dies. And you'll find there a good description. I'm going to shorten it quite a bit so we have time to play. Basically, if you've played any game before that's dice dependent, I know some aren't, we've got our D20. We're going to roll that for pretty much almost everything. You're going to need your D20 with you. The only other thing you're going to need is a D12. And if you don't intend to kill anyone, you can even just drop the D12 right now. You don't even have to. Keep it around just in case. But for most things that aren't, we'll use a D20. One difference, though, which makes this game kind of unique, when we're going to roll a D20, you're not always aiming, as you are with most games, for the highest number possible. In most games, they got what's called bottom-up systems, meaning, broadly speaking, some of them are very complex, but broadly speaking, big number good, low number bad. That's a really good system, and some games make a lot of it. It does get the problem, though, that sometimes people go for the most insane, crazy option because a 20 will save you pretty much any day. That's not going to happen in this game. Doesn't mean you can't do crazy things. Just means you'll also get injured. We're aiming for 10. At least that's a simplified version of it, because this system goes from the middle out, meaning the middle is your safe zone. You can underdo it, as with most games, but you can also overdo it. So, to use an example, let's say you're a pretty strong character, physically, very strong, and you're trying to break a door down in order to get to your, or to break it open, in order to save your beautiful pet red panda, which is inside, named Jacob. And you're trying to save Jacob, the beautiful tiny red panda, by breaking open the door, and being a very strong character, it's not going to be an issue for you. You'll say it. I'll say, all right, roll a D20. If you roll, let's say about a 10, all right, you got the door open. Nice. Jacob's safe. If you roll below, you're pretty strong, so you might still do it, but you might have to give it more of a try, or you might just damage yourself a little in the attempt. If you roll above, you're already strong. Your fitting average action is breaking the door open. Let's say you roll a 20. Jacob, that might not be the best result for Jacob, because now you didn't just break the door open, you broke it down, and you might just squish Jacob in that particular attempt. So you can underdo things as well as overdo them. And that changes based on your character. A pretty weak character trying to break the door open, if they roll a 10, that's not going to be enough, because 10 is what's expected of them. And what's expected of a weak character is not that. So they'll, for example, aim for overdoing it, because the die doesn't say success or failure. It just determines what's expected of you, how you did based on that. If you rolled a 10, doesn't matter what your stat is, you did what's expected of you. And that's going to change with the stats, and I'll explain all that when we get into character creation. But that's the basic thing. That's the basic, simple, biggest difference between this game and other games you might have played. It might sound weird, but the moment we'll get into it, we'll get over the hump, and it'll be like riding a bicycle, at least from my experience. So that's the dice rolling system. I'm wondering if I should do the rest as we build the character. I'll say so. Yeah. All right. So have you all got a character sheet? It can be printed. It can be the digital version. Betsy, yes. Yes for Betsy. That's printed. Yes for Steven. Alice and Toby.
Sure thing.
Toby got one.
I got one.
Perfect. So if you've decided on your species, you can mark that up there in the top left corner. There's some examples for certain species, but uniquely for you've specifically picked 3 species where names are kind of special because there isn't a family or cultural tradition like for the human or hardened or Feyborn, because the masked and the Nook by extension, they're not born. They don't have parents. They show up out of caves while no one's looking. If you look, it won't show up, and people don't really know what pace they come out at. But yeah, they just kind of show up out of caves in a particular place in the northeast called Tikina. So there, no one really gives them a name. They usually name themselves after, some of them after the first thing they see, some of them after some kind of concept they picked up. I've had masks named Trail, Rocky, one named Jamilian, which is because they misread a sign when they went out. I'm not sure what it was supposed to mean. And Stick. Stick was one of my favorite masked names that someone put out. So masked names as well as Nook can be pretty much anything you want. It's something they would have named themselves or felt would represent them a little, but not entirely, like a Smurf. And Betsy, since you chose a suit, who are the slimiest fella, they are born. They do have parents. They are born like Jesus made them. Fantasy Jesus. They also kind of, the suits are pretty nomadic and pretty singular. They usually don't hang around in groups. They leave home very early on, so they don't have a long-standing cultural tradition like many of the other species. And a lot of suits name themselves kind of after whatever area they're in, whatever country they find themselves in. So because we're not going in full to the lore, they would generally have names, some fantasy variations of names that we would think of. So instead of Alexander, for example, the hardened name themselves Alexander because they have really big jaws and S's are kind of hard to pronounce. So slight variations on existing names that we would use is what you'll find most suits using, or puns, because I've only had 2 players play suits. One was named Jelly, Jelly for short, and the other was named Slimewell. So if you want to go on in that cultural tradition, you may.
I might be able to pull Slimewell's full name up.
Oh,
If
he's
you
got like
really-
20, don't
I
they?
did kind of have a punny name, but it's kind of more for snails than for slugs.
You do have a shell.
Her name, I was planning to it to be her name, her Shelly.
Mhm. It's not bad. Shelly, I mean, it's cleverer than Gel and Slime, at least, so far. It's a name.
It is.
Mhm. I actually really do want you to pull up Slimewell's name. Can you find it, Toby?
Yeah, sure. I think I have it somewhere.
Okay, it's very good. It's got a real cultural heritage. All right, so I'm gonna put the working title for your suit as Shelly right now. Alice, have you got an idea for the name of your Nook?
Yes.
Reveal it to me.
I have decided to name them Ponsettia.
Does that have a secret meaning? Or one that is not known to me?
Oh, it's just a type of flower.
Oh, nice.
I was gonna say, is it like a play on poinsettia?
No, it's just a flower.
Oh, okay. How do you spell that?
Poinsettia? Yeah, it's poinsettia. Wait. I thought it was pronounced Ponsettia.
Mhm.
Poinsettia. Well, you can pronounce it. It's a whole different world.
Yeah,
I know
for
these
sure.
flowers.
That sounds much more fantasy than just plain poinsettia.
Mm-hmm. Poinsettia. we've found the Slimewell name. The name of the previous suit who has played is Escargonathan Slagonoming Scarlamagni Slimewell, Knight of the House of Slimewell, third of his name.
Wow, that is a name.
That's
That's a
amazing.
And I was sitting over here thinking Shelly was so funny. Oh my god, what a
He
name.
made that player made a different character who wasn't a suit and still named him Slimy, like a name that was as long as that and full of slime puns. And I said, "How is that?" They said, "Well, he's adopted by the slime family." So
Dude,
building internal lore. How about you, Steven?
I have named mine Requiem.
Requiem. That's a really fun name. Requiem. Requiem. No, it's depressing. All right. Requiem. Poinsettia or Poinsettia. How did you say it?
Poinsettia.
Poinsettia. All right. Poinsettia. And Shelly. We are building up quite a party. Toby, have you
Yeah.
got your species picked out?
Well, we can do it this way. Are
Mhm.
we going with a British accent or are we going with a more American one?
I can flip a coin.
I might have a coin, so I don't have a coin.
I have a coin. All right. It's you're deciding which part's the British one, heads or tail.
Make it tails.
All right. That's heads.
So I will be playing a masked.
Masked is the American one?
Yeah. I'm
Alright.
going to be playing Cero.
Like
Yes,
syrup?
Cero.
Oh, Cero.
Cero.
Oh,
you know
I-
all of my
character.
characters. You
never
know all of-
mind.
You don't know all of my characters. but you know
I've seen
most
some of them.
Yeah.
That's ERO. I know. What's the first letter? These put
C.
like an S or a C. C there. Okay. Cero. Okay. The first mask I ever played on my game was named One. WAN. One. One the One, the only one to ever win a 1v1 was his full title. And so Cero is, I guess, the prequel? 1-0.
I don't know. Jokingly said his cousin, but never wind up playing this character. So
All right. So our party, which is looking fantastic, by the way, just to give you a visual description, the masked are about child-sized. They're very small, even a little smaller than like a 10-year-old would be. And the suits are usually a bit taller than your average human. So we've got a big suit of armor with a little slime head poking out, and I like to imagine it's got like a Minnie Mouse bow somewhere upon its person. And at its feet, we have two masked and a nook who are masked with masks that are differently shaped. So basically, it looks like a kindergarten day out with one adult. With one
glad that
adult.
I'm the adult in this situation.
It looks, if you were out of your shell, the three of them could crawl in and be like three kids in a trench coat, holding.
Guys, I know what we're
like-
doing.
As long as I get it back.
It is very important. Yes, you could write your name on it like it's your socks. All right, it's extremely good to know. All right, we've got our species, we've got our names. Second step is our stats. There aren't very many, and I myself am very bad at mental math, so I designed the system accordingly. We've got 5 stats. We have got strength, wisdom, dexterity, constitution, and Zin. Zin, from the title, is your magic stat. There's only one species that don't have it at all, and those are the hardened. And it's one of the reasons they're so big, is because everyone gets a total of 45 points to spend between all their stats, and they just have one less stat, but they still have 45 points. So they just pump stuff to 11 usually. I've never seen a hardened player of mine who hasn't decided that one of their stats is now a powerhouse, who isn't an Olympic something. So these are your 5 stats. If you go to your species page in the quick start, you're going to see a little range that they have. It shows you all the stats. It shows a range like 5 to 10 or 7 to 12. And that's going to show you basically what that range is of points you can have in that stat. So I'm going to give you a few moments. You've got 45 points to spend among these 5 stats as you see fit. Take your time. And only for reference, what I'll say is 5 is about the weakest of that stat you will ever meet. 15 is Olympic level world champion at whatever it is. 15 wisdom is like the math champion of the world. And 10 is where your average human would be. The humans are not the main thing in this world. They're actually a minority population-wise. But just because we know humans, it's a good point of reference. So 10 is your human average for strength, dexterity, constitution, whatnot. In the meantime, I'm going to pull up the guide so I have the next step already figured out. I wish I could have the Wheel of Fortune. No, the Price is Right thing with the boom, 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 boom. I have a piano here. I could learn to do it, but I'm too lazy. All right. Tell me, each of you, when you're finished so I can write it down. Steven's finished. All right.
Strength is 5.
Wait. I'm extremely slow.
Okay.
Which is why I'm a GM, because I get to make decisions while everyone else is talking. All right. Go ahead.
Strength is 5. Constitution is 7.
Mm-hmm.
Wisdom is 7.
Yep.
Dexterity is 11.
Yep.
Then is 15.
15. Wow. All right. We're starting extremely strong. So you've got, just to clarify to everyone in the audience, this is a little masked fella, slightly smaller than like a 10-year-old child would be, who is about the weakest creature physically you've ever seen, and also the single most magical. By default, this little fella almost glows, just like a light bug with the brimming magical energy. And the masked, by the way, are the only species that can get to 15 with their magic, with their Zin. No one else can. They stop at like 14, 13, or for some of them, 0. All right. That's good. That's a good round. All right. As for Alice, Toby, and Betsy, let me know when you're done.
I'm done.
Yeah, I'm done as well.
All right, Toby, what are your stats?
Let me make sure these add up because I did them a while ago. What? Hold on, this is wrong. How is this wrong?
Another mark of my little. I wonder if it'll show up on the camera actually. But the way that I mark them is I don't write strength, dexterity, or do the acronym thing. I draw the shape that's on the character sheet because I only remember it. I only remember the shape. I don't remember the actual wording. Tell me when you're ready, Toby.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Strength is 5.
Strength is 5.
Yep.
We've got a strong party here.
Oh yeah. Constitution of 6.
Okay, so that's one weaker than Steven already.
13 dexterity.
All right.
8 wisdom
8 wisdom.
and 13 zen.
13. All right. So far, very magical, very little power. I hope Shelly's going to be like a powerhouse, because otherwise, one person with one knife is going to just swipe this party off the road. Betsy,
Okay.
reveal your pros and cons to me.
Is there one you want me to start with, or does it matter?
Strength.
Okay, so strength is 10.
Yes.
Dexterity is 6.
All right.
Because I figure a slug in his suit is probably not very stealthy. A wisdom of 9.
Mm-hmm.
Constitution of 11.
11.
And a zen of 9.
All right. And Alice.
All right, I have a strength of 7,
Right.
a constitution of 9,
Mm-hmm.
a dexterity of 11,
That's good.
a wisdom of 5,
Okay.
and a zen of 12.
All right. So we've got, this is the most magical party. This is the most zinful party that I've ever had. Just so you know, no one's ever all had like 9 and above. Our Zen stat, just so everyone remembers, 5 is the worst in the world, 15 is the most in the world, and most people in this world, in fiction, are not very magical, or zinful, as it would be called. Some people are. If someone has, a lot of people have 5, which is the bare minimum, barely any. Some have 6, 9. If they approach 10, they're kind of like, "Ooh, we've got a really zinful child here." 15 is completely unheard of.
I
Our
might
stats for
change
Zen
one of
is-
my stats then, if that's the case. I
No,
might
we
change
can
my
have
Zen.
like an extraordinary party, but just so you
No,
know,
because I don't see her using magic a lot, so I don't
Okay.
want to do that. So I'm gonna change my Zen to a 5 and add
Alright.
those 4 points to my strength.
So 14 strength,
14 strength, because somebody has to be
Absolute.
strong in this party.
absolute brick house.
Yeah.
All right. So we've got 3 tiny magical troublemakers with no strength apart from Alice, and one person who will have to carry everyone up when the gap between the steps becomes very big, so you have to kind of move them up and up. That's good to know. I won't include very tall steps in this adventure then. Okay. All right, so now we got that. Since you all have magic to some degree, one of the last steps of character creation, there are a few more, but one of the big ones is we're going to pick out magic. And the way that's going to be is you've got categories of magic. They're called towers in world. Each of these is a different form of shaping reality, a different way of changing things around you. And I'll get into the challenges for that in a bit. But for now, all I need from you is, and actually let me open it up so I have it set up on the second screen. I'm very excited because now I have 2 screens. Second. All right, perfect. So look at the stat of how much Zen you have, how much magic you have, And if you look over where the towers are in the quick start guide, around page 15, there's this little chart that tells you how many different towers you can have. Basically, how many different categories of magic you can have. Someone doesn't have a lot of magic. Someone like, for example, Shelly doesn't have a lot of magic. They'll have just one Zin tower, one thing that they are especially good at when it comes to shaping reality around them. When it comes to people who have between 8 and 12 Zin, you'll have 2 towers to choose from. And those who have 13, 14, or 15 will have 3 different towers to choose from. So that makes, yeah, we've got 5, 12, 13, 15. So we actually have all 3 levels that we'll have. So Shelly will have 1 tower. Alice will have 2 towers. And Toby and Steven will have 3 towers. So now that you know how many you'll have, it's time to choose which ones you'll have. And I'll go into a further explanation of magic in a bit, but for now, just see which ones catch your eye. We've got 8 available in the quick start guide right now. If you want clarification on any of them, I can say. But to quickly recap, there's the Tower of Fire, the Tower of Mind, the Tower of Creation, the Tower of Sense, the Tower of Movement, the Tower of Illusion, the Tower of Distance, and the Tower of Alteration. Some are vaguer than others. Some are very specific in what they do, like the Tower of Distance, for example. That's about teleportation. That's the single. It's just when it comes to things that get vaguer, like the Tower of Creation, about creating a small, simple object, and then at higher levels, a small, complex object, or creating a permanent object that won't go away after a bit. Things can get a bit vaguer with that one, or very, very straightforward, like with the Tower of Fire, for example, which is about making fire. Any catch your eye?
I like movement.
The Tower of Movement. It's useful.
Mhm.
Especially if you're a slow slug.
Yes.
You don't have to put points into any of them. I'll go over how you put points into stuff, but just whichever ones you choose, mark them on your character sheet. On the bottom right, there's a little section where you can write which towers you have. Toby, you've got any calling your name?
Oh yeah, I already picked.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Alice?
Which ones did you pick?
I've picked the Tower of Illusion, the Tower of Movement, and the Tower of Distance.
So you're going to be a magician.
Sort of.
You've got all the tools needed. You've got illusion, obviously. You've got distance, so you can do the trick where they go behind the curtain and then they disappear, but you really will. And what was the first one? Was it movement?
I have movement as well, yeah.
Okay, so movement, illusion, and distance.
Yep.
That's a good combo. And Shelly has movement. Even have you picked yours?
Creation, distance, and fire.
Creation, distance, and fire. That's good. I like that we're getting the spectrum. I had one playtest where every single person in the party, they all had relatively low Zin, so everyone could get 1 tower. It was 4 players, and everyone got fire. The game ended really quickly and really suddenly. Not for the reason you'd think. Surprisingly enough, they all set themselves on fire. Which is totally not what I expected to happen. Alice, have you got any towers you're looking at?
Yeah. I was thinking about like either illusion, fire, or alteration. But the Tower of Mind also looks neat.
It is. And you can have 2 towers, right? Because you're in 12.
I'm highly considering the Tower of Alteration if for any other reason than like because nobody else has picked it,
Mhm. That's true, right? Stephen, you
and
got
either
only creation, right?
Mhm.
Okay, you didn't take alteration, right? Sorry, go on.
and either illusion or fire might work well with the concept I have.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, either one you
'Cause
choose.
I was thinking of making. I was thinking of making maybe like a bandit sort of character.
You are right. Both of those would do well. Illusion and fire. Would you include? I can see those with a bandit. Do you have an idea for alteration? That the way that a bandit would use it, or is it like just unrelated?
Uh, honestly, I just think that shapeshifting is cool,
It is very cool.
and I could see that being used in a number of horrible ways.
Yep. There's a I forgot what game. No, it was Vampire Dark Ages, where I had a player get so angry at my character, and they had like flesh crafting and morphing as one of their abilities, and they chased me around the whole courtyard, yelling that they're going to turn me into a baby, by just altering my body down. Uh, Luckily, the GM took them aside and told them that if they want to turn me into a baby, they have to be more sneaky about it, and they eventually got me. Which is, I should say, the kind of GM I'm going to be. I'm going to kind of go with your ideas wherever you go. Don't turn each other into babies now.
I hadn't
continue
actually
that.
thought about using it to transform someone else.
That's really difficult. Using the Tower of Alteration on flesh, living flesh. Well, I don't know if you want to keep it living. It's much easier if you're okay with it dying. But using it on living things and keeping them alive, really hard. But you can do it. You can. It's like just on the higher levels, but you can do it.
Oh, wait. If it's not for shapeshifting, then what's it for?
Only at like the highest level it's for shapeshifting. It can be for changing the properties of matter of objects. For bandit, for example, I can think of
alchemy.
Changing the what am I thinking of? Well, specifically for a bandit, if they don't know you have the Tower of Alteration, you can shift the bars of the cell in their shape or soften them just enough so you can push out of them. Changing things, colors, density, just the properties of matter. Usually a little bit and usually for a short while, but if you get to the higher levels, you can make some really serious changes, even to living things. Yeah, it's a cool tower.
I
One of the bigger ones.
think the other thing I'll go with is illusion.
All right. So illusion, illusion and alteration.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. So
Where do I put these on the sheet?
Bottom right. There should be 3 spaces for you. You'll only use 2 of them. Can you see them? They've got the 5 circles on the right side of them and a little dash for the title.
Oh, I see it now.
Oh, got it. Perfect. All right. Now is a really fun part. So each of these towers of magic you've picked, they basically got 5 levels. These are levels that people train, learn, study, practice, and work their way up them for a lot of their lives. A lot of people would rather keep that side out of their lives. A lot of people have a kind of superstitious belief. Not everyone, but some have a superstitious belief that Zin itself is something that's still connected with the gods, and they think it's a bad idea to put stuff into it. I'll say most people don't, but it's not an overwhelming majority. Mostly for practical reasons, because it's just too useful, and people use it for all sorts of mundane practices and activities. It's used in trade and travel and all sorts of things. However, there's a reason it's not used for everything. It's because it does take a little bit of effort to use it. Things that are on the first level, because each tower's got 5 levels, things that are on the first level are as easy as anything else to you. As easy as using your strength or dexterity or wisdom or constitution. They're just another function that you can do. If you got the Tower of Fire at level 1, it's as simple an action for you to say, I open the door, and I say, sure. I won't even make you roll a die for it, as to say, I make a little fire with my finger. It's simple, tiny. In other games, those are called cantrips sometimes. In this game, it's whatever tower you picked. The first level of it is a free action, as much like, just like a third arm that you've got, or a third tendril if you're a suit. Beyond that, it's going to take some effort to pull off some really impressive things. It's going to take some effort, and that's why you've got, just for that purpose, those 5 spaces, those 5 circles at the top of your character sheet, or I'll say right under your stats, which are called your Zin slots. You get 5 of these. They refill each day. Everyone gets 5, no exception. Even the hardened, which is a little cruel because they can never use them, but they have them. You get 5 each day, and if you want to do something above that minimum with Zin, say level 2, level 3, level, God forbid, 4 or 5, you're going to use points for each point above the minimum. If you want to do something level 2, that's 1 Zin slot, and you'll just have to say you do it. I'll say, all right, drop 1 Zin slot, and only if it's very, very difficult or complex, I'll ask you to roll a die as well. Or for level 3, that'll be 2 slots. Level 4 will be for any level 1 above the minimum. It's pretty simple, but you do need to have those levels. And I'll tell you how the XP works, how we'll get each level. Not everyone has all. And for those of you with a lot of different towers, you're going to have to spread them out, unless you want to really specialize. One other small fun thing you might not use, but it's good to know. All the towers you don't have, right now there's 8 in the character sheet, and at most you can have 3, but that makes for at least 5 that you don't have. You can still use them, at least the level 1 of them, whatever their free action, whatever their cantrip is. You can use those, but it'll cost you a single Zin slot to use. You can't use anything over it, but the simple free action, you can try it. You'll roll for it because it's not yours. It doesn't come naturally to you. It'll be like trying a new thing, or firing a bow of a kind you never have. So you'll spend a Zin slot and you'll roll for it, which means it might not even work, but it is there. If you find yourself in a pinch and you can't think of anything, those options are always there. All right. In order for me to give you your XP so you can pounds and put them all in the places you want and all the things you want to use, I have to tell you one last thing about character creation, which is going to be what you'll decide to put the XP in magic or in this thing. That's going to be a big part of your decision. And that is skills and knowledge. Knowledge, we'll put it aside for the moment. Skills are skills. They don't come from a list. You can make them up, usually along with the GM, so you don't get too general or too specific. They can be a profession. They can be a specific action, like lifting, heavy loads. They can be a kind of trade. They can be an activity. Basically, the only criteria for what a skill can be is it's something you'll have to roll a d20 for one of the stats. And having a skill, just like those towers, it'll go by levels from 1 to 5. And having a skill at a level will mean that when you roll for it, you have a better chance at doing what you want out of it. You will be more skilled at it. At level 1, you're slightly better than average at whatever it is. Level 2, even more. Level 3, this might as well be your job. You know, a professional blacksmith will have blacksmith at level 3 or 4. And at level 5, just like towers, you are a world champion. You are the best you'll ever meet. So, since they are pretty freeform and they don't come from a list, I'll say for now only think of 2 or 3. You can do as low as 2 or as high as 3, but I don't want to confuse things too much. Just to give an example, the blacksmith character, for example, they would have smithing at whatever level they would have, and probably also put hammer or like hammer proficiency, because they use their hammer, say, also as a weapon when they travel about. They'll put some points into that. And say they also like doing, well, they have to carry their things around. So that's pretty impressive. So they'll have carrying heavy load or pack mule. They can call it creative things. And maybe they'll put a point or 2 into that. That's the scope of abilities, or of skills. Knowledges, we're not going to go into today because they're the only bit that's a bit of a subcategory. I'll take a moment to explain. It's not very complicated, but since we're running a really short adventure, we're only doing the essentials. Wait. Yes. All right. So as low as 2 or as high as 3 with your skills, write them down. Once you have, I'm going to take a back seat, give you all, tell you all how much XP you have, and you can spend them whichever way you see fit between all your skills and all your towers. And once you're done with that, we'll basically be done with character creation. At least on the number level. That's all there is. It's the 3 levels. You got species, stats, abilities, and magic. Steven, have you got a skill or 2?
I believe so.
What have you got?
I have musician,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know how this would work, but I started reading about the mystics, and because he is very sinful, I think that would also be.
Makes sense.
So I kind of just have mysticism for the second one right now.
All right. So that would be for rolling. So, well, to give an example of how we'd use that, musician would be if you're trying to play some kind of musical instrument, and I'd say, well, you'd roll dexterity to play a lute or something.
Mm-hmm.
You would add that onto your roll. So you have at level 2, you'd add that too, and I'll explain how that would work. It's a bit non-traditional too. And it would make dexterity better. It would make anything better because things that don't require rolls wouldn't really, like social things, convincing someone you're a musician, for example, or talking music with someone. That's where knowledges would come in, and we're doing minimal right now. That's how you'd use it. Even if you're doing strength to beat the drum of legend as hard as you possibly can, I'd probably take, you can add musician to that role. When it comes to mystic, I'm not sure how you'd use that because your magic's determined by your towers. So, although, if you want, and this is just kind of because we're doing experimentation here, you can put mysticism, just move it from skills to knowledge. And what that means is, whenever you're talking about it, whenever anyone's wondering about it, when they're trying to recall something or extract what the general knowledge about something is, you can roll wisdom and add that, and your chances of knowing something about that subject are much better. So, and that goes with anything. If you're with smithing, with a musician, with anything, but knowledges only apply to wisdom. You can't roll dexterity and add your knowledge to it. So that's the big difference. If you want, you can do that. If not, you can add a different skill and add.
Yeah, I'll do that. I like that.
Toby.
Yep.
Got any?
Yep.
Give them to me.
All right. Well, first skill I put down is sleight of hand.
Ooh.
Sarah's
I
a
know
bit of a charlatan, I'll say. Wandering around the streets, selling forgeries, getting people's attention, checking their pockets a little bit. You know,
for things you might have lost.
yeah. Who
For
knows,
overdue
really?
library cards,
Yeah, it's
things like that.
oh look, I found a gold coin on the floor of their pocket.
That's a good one. I'm keeping that one. I'll make a rogue character say that at some point.
I also have one for appraisal, for vaguely determining the value of, I don't know, this weird ring I found.
That'll be good. You can put that in knowledge.
Yep.
Oh, perfect.
And I've also written down street performance.
That works.
So
Sleight of hand, street
sometimes
performance, and appraisal.
sometimes you don't want to draw too much attention. Sometimes you want to draw attention.
Sometimes you do. You've got many talents to show off, I'm sure. People would love to be distracted by those. Well, many things happen.
Yeah.
All right, that works perfectly. Betsy.
I am not sure because I'm very used to just picking things from a list. I'm not used to
Sure.
being put on the spot and making things up. Do you have any
That's very
recommendations based on previous suit characters? Like what sort of things have other people done in the past?
Jelani, who was a bodyguard, had brawling as one of his. He put just bare brawling because he didn't want to use any weapons. So whenever it came to fighting hand to hand, just braining people with his gauntlet, he would add that to the role, and that would help out. He also had a knowledge of slime poetry, so I don't know if that's applicable to you, but maybe not. I don't know.
Not so much.
That's the thing about him and suits, because it was with a gauntlets and whatnot. Also, Steven,
Okay.
we lost your video.
Yeah, he said it'll be right back.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
He wrote it.
That explains it. That's fair enough.
I mean, yeah, based on what we're seeing with the other characters, clearly they are in need of some kind of bodyguard type character, so that's what she might end up being. Maybe like something like knitting or something like that as well, making little outfits for all of them.
That would help. You'd need a knitting skill because the gauntlets make it a bit
Yeah.
hard, so that would certainly help.
Yeah.
All right.
Can one of the skills be like weapons, or
Sure.
is that like a separate thing?
No, it totally can. You'll just have
Really
to pick one. So you
Yeah.
can say like hammer proficiency or oh my god, I didn't notice your chair has ears too.
Yes. Got little bunny ears on the chair.
Oh, that's very good.
Thank you.
Is that on the chair or is it like an add-on like bunny
Oh my
ears
God,
put
that's
on the
cute.
chair?
No, it actually came with the chair. The chair also, it came with bunny ears, and on the back of the chair is a little pom-pom for like a tail.
You sometimes
Oh, I
spin
want
around
a
on the
chair
chair
like
and
that
chase
so
it.
bad.
You sometimes go just like woo to chase the tail.
Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense. What I would do. I would have one of those long floopy dog tails and just like
No, I would 100% keep with the bunny chair.
Yes, no, I love the bunny chair. I've also seen them make a cow chair where it has like, it's like a cow print, and then there's like little horns that come off the top. So
aw,
cute.
that is fun. He's returned.
Yay! Hi.
Hallelujah. Praise Lord.
I'm not sure about a weapon yet, but I do want a weapon proficiency. So
All right.
give me a second to think about it. Come
Sure.
back to me.
Think it over.
Yes.
Alice, have you got a skill or two in the barrel?
Yeah. I mean, number one thing that comes to mind for a bandit is banditry.
I'm starting to notice a pattern. I don't think this party's going to obey the law very much. It's a weird feeling I'm getting. Sorry, go on.
Yeah. I also think they'd have like you know, survival. If that makes sense.
Yeah, survival works.
As,
Survival skills.
I picture this as someone that, kind of wanders around, just sort of taking things and living off the land.
That certainly would help. All right.
As
Mhm.
far as like as far as weapons go,
You can add one if you want.
I was thinking about it. Like I like the idea of like some sort of string sort of deal.
Mm-hmm. String like hook or like a garrote, like to kill, like the hitman style string to carry with you.
like a garrote or like I don't really know how to like describe this except more extra.
Sure, with a little
Instead
something.
of just like instead of just like sneaking up and like getting people around the neck, I just mean like just whipping it around people and just like just sort of like fucking them up a bit more anime.
Right. So this one's got like a bit more pizzazz to it.
Yeah. This is not
If you want, you can give it like a
subtle
special
assassin
name.
person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this isn't subtle assassin person. This is just I am bandit. I will fight you now and steal
And
your
bandit.
things.
Here for kill. All right. Well,
I mean,
whichever way you choose to write
won't
it.
kill if you give your stuff. All right. Yeah.
Nook has knife if you have coin.
Exactly.
All right. So whichever way you choose to write that on the character sheet, that's fine. Just write whatever that is and proficiency afterwards, so we know you're good with it. And once you have, we are at the single most, well, for me at least, when I usually make my character, it's the most like satisfying part, apart from the actual story and the character and history, which is putting XP and filling in boxes, which is a great way to get endorphins into you. It's a great fun tip. If you ever do a thing that's productive and you have a to-do list or you don't, a great way to just get good chemicals in your brain is to find a piece of paper, write down the thing on it, and then mark it off, even though you already did it. It's just like, woo, it's like heroin right up your spine. It's great. My mom does it, and she's a very productive person, probably purely because of that. All right. On that same page that we were talking about that has the Zin Tower on it, and also if it's there, but also it's at the bottom of your character sheets, bottom right there, you're going to find a little chart that tells you how much things cost, because you're kind of buying points. I'm giving you a certain amount of XP, and each point you put somewhere, it costs something. Putting it in a skill or knowledge costs one thing. Putting it in a tower costs a bit more because towers are very unique and powerful. So it will cost a bit more to put it there. You'll find it down at the bottom right. If you haven't, it's also on page 15 of the quick start guide. And if you're ready, I'm telling you, you get, and this is more than players usually get at the beginning, but it's because we're having a short, fun adventure, and I want you to get to try fun different things. You get 150 points of XP to spend about whichever way you see fit. If you find that it's too concentrated to your liking, like you only have 1 tower and 2 skills or what, then I recommend you add a skill or knowledge, just so you can spread it out a bit more evenly. But aside from that, yeah, take them, spend them however you like. Prices are at the bottom right. Cue Price is Right loading music. Take a bite of my apple too.
Slowly turning into ASMR with Nemo there.
And I'll scratch this piece of paper while I'm at it. I found someone who does ASMR of exclusively distressing situations, which is very funny. I'll get very near the mic and say, "Looks like you're late on filing your tax returns." It had lots of views. So I'm assuming it's someone's, someone likes it. Toby,
Yeah.
how are yours looking?
I'm adding up the numbers right now to make sure it's fine.
By the way, if you've got any points left over, anyone, you on the top left, you'll see there's a little place for XP. It's okay if it doesn't match up exactly. You can put the remainder there for later.
All right. Yep, I'm good.
All right, lay it on me.
So sleight of hand and street performance both at level 2.
Nice.
And appraisal at level 1.
Mm-hmm.
While Tower of Illusions at level 2 and the Towers of Movement and Distance are at level 1.
Nice. All right. That works. Steven, how are you looking?
All good. Mysticism is at level 1.
Mm-hmm.
Musicians at level 2. Tower of Distance is at level 1, and then Fire and Creation are level 2.
Good. That's great. By the way, this is a small point, but Betsy, I'm getting such a rush at seeing the guide printed out. It's just very satisfying for me because I like the character sheet. I've never printed them out myself.
Oh, I love printing things out. It's so much fun. I recently bought a printer with my roommate, and before then I was always running home to my parents' house to print out stuff, and it was driving me nuts. So yeah, I was really stoked to have, and at least I was able to get the PDF to where I have whole pages on it instead of it being cut off. Yep. So that was nice.
That's good. It's 20 pages.
You said we have. You said we have 150.
Yes. You have 150 to spend as you like.
That was enough to get 2 in everything.
Perfect.
Since I have some leftover
I think I'll
points,
stick
I'm
with 2
gonna.
and everything.
Oh, thing happened. Alice?
No, I was just saying I think I'll stick with 2 and everything.
Right, that works. Toby, what did you were saying?
I'm gonna throw some of my leftover points into another, what I think would be a knowledge of just what the inside of a prison looks like.
Hmm?
Sarah has been in and out of prison quite a lot, so you'd probably have a little bit of know-how of what it's like inside and how to get out.
All right, that's
So
good.
single level of that.
Well, hopefully it won't come in handy, but always good to have there.
Yeah,
And the dog sounds were from you, by the way, right?
Yeah.
Because I was looking out my window. Okay, they've stopped now, but that's okay. I'm on the 4th floor. I don't know why I did, but yeah. Betsy.
Okay, so first
Your
off,
power
I
level.
did figure out what weapon I want.
Yes.
I want a halberd,
All right.
big ass spear looking thing. And then I made up another skill because I had enough points to have a level 2 and something else. So I decided on a cooking skill.
That'll be useful traveling about.
Right? Exactly. So I guess like starting off at the top, I have just like a general fighting skill at level 2.
Mm-hmm.
I know I mentioned a knitting skill, but I think it would be very funny. I originally wanted to give her like a 0, be like she really wants to do it, but she's really bad at it. I thought that would be really funny. But I ended up just giving her a level 1 for knitting, a level 3 for the halberd, and then a level 2 for the cooking, and level 1 for the Tower of Movement. Because I don't think she uses it very much.
That makes sense. All right. Okay. We have 99% of what we need to go in. Last thing is literally just looking at a chart, putting numbers on it. If you would all please go to page 10. You'll find there at the bottom, and I can just put it up on the screen later. A little chart at the bottom right, page 10, where it says wiggle stat. This one, and you'll see on your character sheet, is where your stat is. There's a little darker little circle right next to it. Whatever your stat is, go in that chart. Whatever the smaller number is, put it in the wiggle stat. It'll be explained in a second. I think even in the guide it says, "Don't worry about this. I'll explain it later." To keep from overloading information. It should be 2, 3, 4, or if your stat is really crazy. No, if your stat's really crazy, I think it'll get to 4. Yes. You can't get 5. Some people can. Well, some things can, but you can't. All right. Tell me once you're done, and we will drop ourselves. We'll wrap ourselves in the warm, comforting blanket of a story. Steven's done. That's good.
I think I'm done.
Might want to just point out the species modifiers for the wiggle stat and HP and LP.
Yeah, I think I do have 5 just because the masks get +1 in Zen, and my Zen is ridiculous.
Okay, so to give you a clue, if you looked at your species pages and it had like a +1, +2, or whatnot, that's not to the actual stat. So if you chose to have 15, that's 15. That's exactly, Toby brought it up at the exact right time. That's to the wiggle stat, which is exactly now's the point for it. So the mask, for example, they have their +1 there at Zen and Dexterity, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So that's the wiggle stat. Whatever wiggle stat you've got here, just add the get it one higher there. The humans have a special ability where they're the only species that can choose where they're going to get that bonus. And if you're wondering what the wiggle stat is or why it has such a fun name, it shall all be explained very soon. So worry not. Other thing you mentioned was hit points and life points. We'll do that in 1 second, and I'm pretty sure that'll be the final thing. Right. All right. Your how shall I put this? The way people will kill you. Well, the way people will try to kill you is usually hitting you with stuff. Probably won't happen too often. It's not D&D, but it will potentially happen. It does happen in the world, especially if you try and do it to them and or commit crimes, which I know none of you would ever do. But yeah,
This is a legitimate business, okay?
Sorry, that was reflexive. I wonder if Shelley knows about the escapades that Sarah and Poinsettia are doing. Would it be like they just come back with this month's rent and don't ask questions?
Probably, yeah. It's just kind of like, as long as they don't come back like gravely injured, I don't think she really cares one way or the other.
All right, who wants soup?
Okay, great.
And or
Thanks
a
for all
halberd.
the new stuff.
Meanwhile, Requiem will be just in the corner. Wait a minute, you said the mysticism wasn't. We did keep it as a knowledge, right?
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense. Because in my brain, it was reading a book, and I wanted to know if that's accurate. Could not be, but fair enough. Would he be? Would you be? How does Requiem feel about the law?
What's a law?
Oh, okay. So we've got 3 chaos children. We've got 3 masked little chaotic children who do crime, who skate fast and do crime, and and we have their snail mom, who has a halberd, is not afraid to use it, and it cooks.
Yeah, I don't know if Requiem knowingly commits crimes. I think he just is not aware that places have laws and those are meant to be obeyed.
I told you these other kids are a bad influence on you. He's innocent. He doesn't know any better. All right. So the way people will try to kill you, people, things, the gods, the universe, me, lots of things. I'll personalize it. The way I'll try to kill you is getting 2 things down to 0: your hit points and your life points. They're the bottom left of your character sheet. They're HP and LP. Now, when you're out of HP, hit points, you're out cold, unconscious. When you're out of LP, life points, you're dead. Dead means that you're dead and that you don't come back. Conscious, you can't come back from, potentially, if you're not. Because you are easier to kill when you're unconscious, but that's for later. Don't worry about it. It's not a game mechanic. It's just a fact. Yeah, I'm rambling. So it says there at the bottom about what the hit points and life points are, but to those at home, it's based on your constitution. So the more constitution you have, the higher it's going to be. It says, for example, your hit points are your constitution times 3. And with this one, for example, it's for both of them. Your hit points and life points are constitution times 3. However, you do get some bonuses to that. So if you, you do. If you go to your species page, it tells you what the bonus. You apply it afterwards. Otherwise, it would be absolutely insane. But for example, if you're playing a masked, they get +2 to their hit points and life points. So you do your constitution, time it by 5, and get 2 extra points in there. If you're a Nook, you get +3 for your HP and LP. If you're a suit, you're just cooler than everyone. But also, you get 5 HP and 3 to your LP, to your life points. And last thing, this is actually the last thing, and then we're dropping right in, is it says healing right there under it. One of the healings says Constitution. You just write your Constitution there. The other one, that's on your species page as well. So it says your life point healing. And these means how much you heal every night. So it takes a while. Healing is a big deal. If someone pulls a knife in this game, it's kind of a big deal because a single wound can take like a day or two to heal from. So keep that in mind. And healing from serious wounds is kind of harder. When it comes to how we were going to roll dice, damage, d20, we're going to get into that when we roll dice. So don't worry. But for now, if I have it correctly in my head, we've got our stats, we've got wiggle stat, we've got our life points, our hit points, our skills, our knowledges, and a whole lot of magic. Right? We've all got all of those?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Then let's go in. Have your d20s ready. Can't promise you use them too often. It's a bit of a story, but just have them at the ready. So, Poinsettia, Requiem, Sarah, and Shelley. You, along with an occasional traveler who you pass along your road, are traveling through a forested path. It's Lunas. You've been here before. It's hard not to be. It's the origin of most suits. However, it is very, very far from home for all the rest of you. While Shelley's been here before, all masked, all Nook, we know exactly where they come from. They all spawn in the same spot, which is very far away. So what, and you can spitball with this however you like. You can have it be collective or individual. But what reason do you have to be so far away from where you were born? And we'll start with Stephen.
So Requiem just kind of likes to travel. When he was born, a hardened was watching a cave, and like the next mass that comes out, if he wants to travel, he goes with me. But if you watch the cave, they don't appear. Requiem kind of popped out of a hole behind him, and it's like, what are we looking for? So we were traveling for a bit, lost him, don't know where he went.
It's very hard to lose him.
Don't know where he went. Is he dead? Is he sleeping? We don't know.
Is it just is it a I was about to make a bad pun. Is it a mask of obliviousness that Requiem is wearing, while in fact deep inside lies the most hardened criminal of all?
We don't know. Least of
We'll
all
never
does
know.
he know.
All right. Go on.
But we found the suit. We accidentally got stuck to the suit for a little bit, and it's just easier to stay with the suit at this point.
Fair enough. In that case, well, that would have been pretty easy. Shelley, what business would a suit have had traveling so far from the tropic land of their origin?
Well, you said we're in Lunas, right? And that's kind of where most suits come from.
Oh,
so
sorry.
really,
I mean, to have
traveled
stumbled
so close to
upon
home.
to be coming back home, I guess.
Well, I think that she wants to work on her cooking skills and her knitting skills. So she's kind of been wanting to, like, as we're going to all these different places, kind of gathering materials from different lands in order to make different things. And with Lunas being the homeland, kind of more just like a restock of like things that I had when I first started on my journey, because I'm assuming that we've traveled a lot, and that means I've used up a lot of stuff. So stuff that I'm used to working with from back home, I don't really have anymore. So it's really just kind of a restock for me.
Fair enough. Zero. Zero? How would you say it?
Zero.
Zero. Mm.
Yeah. Where are we headed?
What business have you? You're in Lunas and you're heading even further toward the coast, pretty far west. What brought you so far from the land of your appearance?
Well, usually I'd stick to a nice big city, but
Oh my god.
when you stay in one area for a very long time, the climate there's you heard of climate change? The heat kind of goes up over time, and people
Don't
start
bring
acting
climate
weird.
change into my world.
No, I
I
mean
worked so long on it. Don't do it.
I mean heat metaphorically. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay, like seasons. Okay, yeah.
No,
No? No?
Basically, you can't pull off the kind of thing I pull off if you stay in one place for too long. People start to get a
Okay,
little
like
suspicious.
the feel of the place. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe maybe some people around here have some more muddy to depart from. I mean, buy with, you know.
Very fair enough. That's how markets work. Yeah. That's smart business right there.
Exactly, and there's nice little suit, not little, nice big suit over here that God forbid might get ripped off if someone not more knowledgeable wouldn't show up and help them buy the right things.
Are you all trying to rob Shelly?
No, I
God
literally
forbid,
just
no.
left the
We're
Shelly
pulling a
suit of
long
armor
con
for
here.
years.
Is this one shot gonna end with a suit in a ditch?
No, we're longtime partners,
Okay.
and there's mutual trust here.
I'm sure. All right. Well, that's extremely good to know. Poinsettia. What would bring, first of all, a nook to give the folks at home a bit of background? The nook were masked once and broke away from the Zen and the spiritual, which kind of embodies them. And they're more about the physical world, which is why they're not afraid to carve up their masks into interesting designs. That's reflected in a lot of things.
Oh,
And
is that
funny
what
enough,
happened? I
well, they
just
also
thought
get
like,
morphed around. Yeah.
oh yeah, 'cause I just imagined that like becoming a Nook just meant the mask just sort of like melted and grew horns and shit.
It definitely gets morphed around. Masked sometimes paint their masks, but they don't usually mess with it when it comes to actual carving stuff. The Nook are a bit more liberal with that, but their masks, you are correct, also naturally just morph into things that show off their personality a bit more. There was a Nook that I played with the other day, whose name was Quartz, and it's because there was a geologist Nook, and they had a piece of rock, a piece of quartz, just jammed in the middle of their masks and cracks going all the way around. They fell mask first into just a really pointed piece of quartz, and it was love at first bunk. So Poinsettia, what brings you so far south?
So Nook are connected to the Everstorms, right?
Yep, on the eastmost and westmost ends of the known world, there are ever-raging storms at sea where the Nook have a very strong connection with them.
Yeah. I think that Poinsettia has like seen one Everstorm but hasn't seen the other.
Ooh.
And I think that's what's going on here, that they are trying to get to the other end so that they can, see this Everstorm and how it differs from their Everstorm.
It's very fair. the most spiritual
'Cause,
reason
like,
thus far. So
the
far, the
wind has
reasons
got to
have
be
been
different, right?
they have to be. It's good to have this reason because so far the reasons have been I don't know, cooking, stealing. It's good to have a real personal journey through with all these very important life goals. I don't want to sound
Well,
dismissive of any of
I
them. These
mean,
are very good.
I don't think that there's. I don't think that Ponsetia has anything else going on, really. I think that they just kind of live off foraging and relieving people of their things.
Mhm.
And this is my suggestion here that Ponsetia encountered the group whilst being chased after by someone that they stole from, and the group thought that they were the attacker instead.
Fair enough.
So, they've just been hanging out with this group ever since. I imagine eventually someone realized, what happened, but
Mhm.
it's too late now.
It's too late now. And you don't throw away a perfectly good uh, troop, group, party, whatever. Perfectly good suit. All right. Well, now we know why you are traveling and also why you're traveling together. You've stumbled upon each other, and all you small fellas have gathered up around this strong, mighty suit, like it's the Statue of Liberty, and you all just like flock to the tallest thing you can see for safety, I presume.
The claw.
Tall and good at punching.
Yes! I'm the claw.
Well, I thought I saw something shiny, but this one is a little too big to carry.
I tried putting it in my coin purse; it wouldn't fit.
It's all metal. It doesn't have pockets.
It's a real trick. Well, when you think about it, it is a pocket.
But how do you get?
Don't think about it. I said if you think about it.
That's only for
Don't.
me to know.
Oh
Don't
my.
worry about it.
We're full of mystery. All right. Well, heading south, you are upon this forested road. The deepest, most jungliest part of this forested area are still far ahead, and you have at least one stop to make before you go into the real deep, dangerous part of this journey. That stop is a small little town called Penny Eye. It's marked on your map, and Shelly has probably seen it before. It's a small little trading post. A lot of people stop there. It's just big enough to have its own little coach yard, but not big enough to stop being quaint. It's in a valley that's sort of known for being hot and dry, and most people spend most of their day out of the valley, going off into the forest, where they work or do whatever it is they do here. For the masked and nook of the party, this place really does seem very foreign from the world you've known. Although, not too much. Most of the residents, as we are in the south here, most of the residents are Feyborn, a leopard-esque people who have seen a masked or two in their life, especially since it's a trading post, but I've never seen three. Some of them have never even seen a nook. Some of the kids thought they were fairy tales. And strangely enough, the one that they're most accustomed to seeing are the big slugs in a suit of armor. They're like, oh, thank goodness. The world hasn't gone entirely mad. There is a snail in a suit of armor here. And as you approach to a little cabin that's up on the road, Shelly, you know the villages, the Valiant village is right over there, and you already feel the heat of the baking sun heading there. As you approach, however, you notice something a bit strange. That shed that would be there is not the same shed as it was last time you passed through here. Weirdly enough, it looks older. Also, it's not made of wood like most things around here. It's made of stone. Very, very dark stone with little white speckles over it. It looks more like a little stone shelter someone built in the cold rather than here, you know. It just feels like you'd bake inside that. It's very strange. It doesn't seem to have any openings in it. Yeah, you can.
Okay.
Yeah, you can walk on by it if you like. And for now, since I want you to roll wisdom for it, I'm going to tell you how the rolls work.
Great.
So that number that you got there, the wiggle stat, what would that be for wisdom?
I'm hoping that I did it right, but it should be a 2.
2. All right. So what that means is you take 10, which is the center, which is the most fitting action, add 2, and subtract 2. So 10 minus 2 is 12. 10 minus 2 is 8. So
I have
8.
a 9 for wisdom.
No. It's okay. 10 is the center anyway.
10's the center. Okay, then.
All right.
Okay.
You take 10 plus 2, 10 minus 2, 8 to 12. That is your range. So when I said if you roll in the middle, you do what's expected of you, that is the range of what's expected of you. You roll above your range, that's above fitting. You roll below your range, that's below fitting. You'll see how that works out. You can overdo, underdo. Sometimes it's bad, sometimes it's not. But that is your range. If you got a higher wiggle stat, the range is one number wider on both ends.
Oh.
That's exactly how it works. So to try it out, because it takes a moment to get used to it, roll me wisdom, please. So roll a d20 and read out.
Okay, so I rolled a 4.
4. So that's below fitting because the range is 8
Below.
to 12. And your stat is a 9, which is a tiny bit below average, but it's pretty much average when it comes to wisdom. So it's not a failure. When it comes to wisdom, usually it's about recollections, general knowledge. It's hard to, trip over and bonk yourself and cause damage with that.
It hurt itself in the confusion.
But I hate that when that happens. It hurts. It's just somehow.
It's stupid.
It's very
Makes no
stupid.
sense.
I walk into sometimes I walk into the kitchen. If you ever walk into the kitchen, you're holding a thing and you have no idea why you're holding it or where you're supposed to put it. That's what the real life rolling a 1 for wisdom is. Just that's what it is.
Yes.
It's not you walk into the kitchen, you don't know what this is, and then you go, beans.
Does walking into a pillar not count as actually damaging yourself by rolling 1 wisdom?
Well, you're a very special boy with very special talents. That's like a 1 with 2 disadvantages or something. That's a weird one. Not to say that hasn't happened, but anyway. So what happens is, of all of you who perhaps would know that this thing looks out of place, Shelley certainly does. And as you walk by it, Shelley seems to examine it, and in the deepest reaches of your slimy mind, you look at that, and you know it doesn't fit. Can't be sure it wasn't always that. Nothing. It's just. I will have now everyone roll wisdom, please.
I got a 20.
So I'm going to venture a guess that that's above fitting for you.
Yes.
All right. When it comes to wisdom, overdoing it isn't as much of a danger. Wisdom is I'm starting with the most similar to standard rolls that you'd make in other games.
I got a 14.
All right. With your wisdom, is that above fitting?
Yes.
All right.
I got a 15.
Which is above fitting. All right. So you have all done above average, above what's expected of you. In addition, although, hold on, if I'm not mistaken here, never mind. My bad. It's actually very lucky. I was about to be like, as expected. It's not as expected. It's actually very lucky because everyone except for Shelly has below average wisdom. So there's that. So this is like the one case where you walk by, Shelly didn't really notice a thing, but all three of your little chaos children have got their like little brain light bulbs light up. Because as you walk on through, and perhaps Shelly is still a bit baffled by the previous sight, the three smaller party members notice a few certain strangeness. That's not a sentence. A few certain stranger things coming into this very, very hot valley. Requiem. You walking on the farthest left and nearest the edge of the road notice a thing which is little, very, very dark pebbles that seem to have been pushed out of the way by carriages, by walker, by. Normally, that's where pebbles go. These are extremely, extremely dark pebbles of a type of stone that really shouldn't be around here. You haven't seen this in a long time. You can't remember where you've seen that type of stone before. It's not here. If only you were a stone expert of some kind. Not like your old friend Quartz, the Nook. No, I'm kidding. Sero, walking right next. You notice something, which is you're coming over the hump. You're about to see the village. You're about to see the valley, and the heat is baking you more and more. You notice that on the far end of this valley that's starting to be revealed to you, there is this big boulder, and it's kind of an odd shape for this type of area. It's lots of trees, lots of plantation. That one's just a clean, big, giant boulder. It looks very out of place. No plants have grown on it, almost as if it's just been plopped there. But maybe it's some kind of totem statue. You haven't been here before. How would you know? Poinsettia. You walking nearest to Shelly. You actually, as you walk by, you see that hut of stone. And you do know where you've seen something like that before. You saw something like that, being a Nook and having traveled far to the north, the coldest points from which you can sense the Everstorm the most strongly. Those are the kind of little shelters that some people build up there in the far, far north when they're spying on prey. So little hunters thing they put there when they're hunting, say, a seal, and they don't want them to spot them, and they make that kind of thing. And that stone too, it slowly dawns on all of you as you enter this place. That's far north stone. The reason it looks so weird to you is because it's not covered in snow as it usually is. Someone has been bringing a lot of very, very, and I'm talking like this is a continent and a half away. All right. So
This stone is very lost.
that's the best, right? Yeah, I'm not the only one who was struck by that. That's very good.
I got a little emotional. Oh, it's lost.
Yeah,
We should help it find its way home.
Not beans. All right. It is indeed very lost, and probably at that comment, Shelley, you would realize that it's not just you. It actually does look very out of place. And now, coming over the hump, the village is fully revealed to you. And it's not just you. There's definitely something wrong. Because in addition to the folks, the leopard-esque folks who are Feyborn, who are farming, who are traveling, who are trading their things down below in the valley, there are also tiny little, you'd say about slightly smaller than masked sized, very dark black figures kind of flopping about the whole village. And I'm going to say Shelley's probably never seen anything like it. Potentially, maybe Zero and Requiem would have seen maybe something like it. Only one who definitely has is Poinsettia. Them's penguins.
These penguins are also lost.
Pengu.
What now is lost?
I'd have all of you who are not Poinsettia please roll wisdom to see if you know what penguins are.
7, which is the lower range of my fitting.
All right, fitting still
Fitting
though, right?
still.
That's fitting for you.
12 fitting.
That's fitting.
Yeah, 4.
It's just not Shelley's
It is
day.
not. She doesn't know up from down right now.
No. Perhaps struck by this strangeness.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make any sense. All right. Well, whatever they are, pangolins, whatever Poinsettia said, Shelley is most definitely, at the very least, recognizes that's not where they're meant to be. Absolutely not. The rest of you have heard of these things, have not seen them before, except for perhaps in drawings. They seem to be flopping about. If they mind the heat, it's only just started bothering them because most of them are flopping about perfectly happily. And a few of them have found a little pond and are taking turns splashing inside it on the far end of town. In front of you is a descent. It takes about 2 minutes to get into the village. And nearest to you is a little market area. And everyone seems to be utterly charmed by these little things, especially the kids. So much so that they barely pay any attention to the masked fellas who are coming in through town that would, on any normal day, turn lots and lots of heads. One penguin approaches you as you enter the village. Who would be walking at the front of the line? Who would it meet first?
Requiem saw them going into the water and has run away from the rest of the group to try to go to the water with the penguins.
All right, that's perfectly valid. Seeing that, would anyone... I'm just going to take
Shelley would
that
try to
seat.
call him back
What do you do?
immediately. Be like, what are you doing? Get back here.
Penguin!
No, we
Penguins.
don't know what those are. Get back here.
Penguins!
Penguin!
All right, the penguin.
They are small.
must resist the siren pangolin call. They are very small. It is true. All right, you have run over to that side. Do you intend to splash in the pool?
Yes, at some point, Requiem forgets to control the magic, to control the Zin, and taps into the distance and just teleports the last little bit there into the middle of the pool.
Just a little fella blinking his way through the meadow to get to the pangolins. All right, that's perfectly fine. No points need to be spent. All right, you're so excited. You're off doing that. One that approaches you seems kind of baffled at this reaction and also at seeing you kind of blink from one place to another. Turns to Poinsettia and it kind of flops near and pecks your arm. Very gently, but like a...
These things dangerous.
He has got a knife.
I have already captured this.
No,
one.
he doesn't. I'm kidding. He does not have a knife.
Holding a knife. No!
No!
Shelley is the mom screaming no.
Meanwhile, Poinsettia is just like picking up this penguin.
Put it down.
Roll strength.
Pangolin.
It's about your size. Roll strength, please. You are.
Oh,
Don't
okay.
get me
I
wrong.
thought you were.
Point study is very strong, for compared to the other two masked members. So shouldn't be too hard.
I rolled a 20.
All right. So you have
Of course
picked
you
up-
did.
You've picked up this penguin, but perhaps with too much excitement, or perhaps you have squished it too tightly, because immediately it gets panicked and wriggles out of your arms. And feeling with a look, it's very hard to interpret because they are birds. But with a look that's almost betrayed, turns over to Zero and pecks his arm instead, or their arm.
What do you want? I poke it.
All right. It pokes. It pokes directly at your coin purse.
Oh, these are trained. Get away.
It's going to roll to see if it can take it.
Trained penguin.
All right. It's trying to take it from you. If you'd like to resist, I'll have you roll dexterity.
I'm not letting that penguin touch my coins.
It's gonna.
It better not.
Roll dexterity then.
15.
All right. That's 2 above fitting, right? For you?
One above fitting.
That's 1 above fitting. All right. It pecks over, reaches to grab it by the strap, and it grabs it with its beak by the little strap that's right at the end of the knot that you have to pull to undo the knot. Unfortunately for this dumb little penguin, you did a double knot, and you kind of grab it immediately. And would you grab the penguin at the beak, or your own, or just your coin person? What do you do?
Probably just a purse.
Okay, tactical retreat.
Yeah.
All right.
Bloody thieves.
Feeling even more betrayed, this mystery creature now approaches the big, shiny monolith that is your symbolic mother yelling no at a child with a knife, and pecks at you, which makes a metallic little clang. Yeah, wait, hold on. There you go.
Okay, that was good.
Thank you.
Can I help you?
Unbelievably, it nods.
They don't usually do
Okay.
this.
No, they don't. Okay. What do you need help with?
It turns its head sideways like a confused dog, and then turns to look at the pond where, until mere moments ago, many penguins were happily bathing, and now it's a very happy masked. Don't get me wrong. But it seems the penguin...
I think at this point, Requiem has returned to you just sopping
Oh,
away.
okay, so you're coming back. Very well.
I fell in
The
a
penguin
puddle.
is still looking at the pond.
So you want to go back in the pond? No, you don't want to go in the pond.
Do you want money?
It doesn't have eyebrows, so it doesn't do that. But spiritually, it does that.
Spiritually.
It's raising its spiritual eyebrows.
Money. I point to the coin purse.
It I can't imitate it, but it makes a
The
penguin
pond
sound
is made
like,
of money.
I don't know if that was a yes or a no.
I'm speak penguin.
Penguin.
It looks very like, you just don't get it.
Food?
And flops its
2
way.
squeaks yes, 2
towards
squeaks
the
no.
Okay, well,
It
I think
looks
this is
intrigued.
enough for today. It was nice meeting you. Goodbye. Kind of like tries to corral the mast of the dog. Okay, let's go.
It flops over really quickly to Poinsettia after hearing that last sentence. And, oh, sorry.
I can't count. Was that 1 or 2?
I don't know what you want.
Beauty of it is that they said 2 squeaks yes and 2 squeaks no.
Mm.
It keeps on pecking. It's very determined.
It's gonna leave a dent in my armor. I better stop. Okay.
Is there something about the lake?
Stop it. Do
Did you
need
say
to
2?
Go to
Which,
town?
what
Do
did
you
you
need
say?
an
It was
escort
1
into
for yes?
town?
Was it 1 for yes and 2 for no? Did you say?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh no.
We're saying it now.
We're saying it now.
Okay. So at the lake thing, it goes. This
So,
penguin
like-
has made 5 different noises so far. That's my fault. It's the same noise. It's penguin
It's the
noise.
same noise.
Don't worry. In fiction, this is a penguin.
Okay.
The subtitles just say penguin noise.
Is the lake the problem?
Is
Does
something
the
wrong
lake
with
require money?
Does the lake
Nope.
require
No.
money? No. Is there something wrong with the lake?
Oh, hold on.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Yes.
I think
No.
you disappeared for a little bit.
Oh, wait, hold on. Betsy, I don't think you can hear Rosie.
No, I cannot hear Rose.
No, Rosie came in. We're not being very ambiguous about this lake. We're just listening to Rosie, who came in with a comment. Don't worry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, for some reason she's hidden for me.
Oh, she is elusive. Oh no. Do you know how long ago it happened? Okay.
I consider at a certain point you went hidden for a little bit.
I did for a
Yeah.
bit, but not 15 to 20 minutes ago.
No. You went to the bathroom for a moment and you stopped your feed. I meant Rosie went hidden in.
Oh, something did go wrong for me. It was weird.
Yeah, I saw that.
Mm-hmm.
I
could
wouldn't
not
be
tell
able
you.
to say.
I'm not good with time.
Maybe
I mean,
half an
neither.
hour.
Yeah,
I think a
that's
little
about
longer
right.
than that.
I want a t-shirt that just says "This rock is lost." It's very cute.
Honestly,
Really cute. Yeah.
It's the image of a mask just holding a pebble. Poor thing.
That's so cute.
I mean,
Oh my God,
yeah,
I want
if
that.
Poinsettia hadn't said that, Requiem was fully just going to grab these pebbles and bring them to Shelly.
I mean,
like rocks.
I like Poinsettia a lot, really. But also, I will have to point out that Poinsettia is completely willing to just eat one of these penguins.
Penguin.
Okay.
Cool. I am Betsy now. Uh-oh, nope.
Just
Bring me
imagine a
back
little
to my
mask's head popping out of the armor.
Yep, that's it.
Yes, hello, I am Vincent Adultman.
Literally, I just imagine though, like one day we're gonna be as tall as Shelly, and we just stack up like totem pole on top of each other.
You wear a terrible hoodie with 2 feelers on it that's painted green.
God, just like stack up together, just say, "Your time is over, old man."
I don't.
Put
I
'em
don't
up.
think it'd be hard to stack
It's
because
a Malcolm in the Middle reference.
nice. I think it'd be easy to stack though, because it's like the 2 masked have Tower of Distance, so we just pop on top.
The legs give out at some point. What happened? You had to go to the bathroom.
I could illusion something to make us look like a suit.
Cool.
Oh,
Do, 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 do. She's gone.
Yay!
Yay.
return.
Welcome back.
That's the prophecy.
Yay!
Victory.
Yeah.
Yeet. It's a pond.
All right. Well, when it comes to time limitation, I had my timer set to 3 hours when we about started, and it said there's like 45 minutes left. But you said 45. I'm looking in the chat now, and you said 45 minutes a bit ago. What's the scheduling like?
Mhm.
I see. Is everyone
I'm good.
okay to go on for that?
I'm good for another hour.
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
All right. I was worried that I'd have to like condense it a bunch. Don't know if you saw, but the Critical Role did like a 20-minute one shot with Vin Diesel because they just told him that day, "Oh, I only have 20 minutes," and it was like nothing. It was like watching someone recap all of Lord of the Rings.
Oh
And, like,
jeez.
and then he okay, and then there's a wall and the cave. Okay, you beat the cave. Okay, the castle. Yeah, just didn't want it to be that. All right, everyone ready to return?
Yep.
All right. Well, where we had just left off, Penguin was harassing and going like over the armor.
Hang on.
And you had
Rose,
begun
would
to ask
you
it.
mute yourself.
Hmm?
We can thank you. We just hear people in the background. Wonderful, thank you.
Thank you.
You had just begun to ask the penguin lots of yes or no questions. Would you repeat the last few so that it may respond to you?
So one of the questions I think was, does the lake need money?
No, I asked it if it wanted money. And then lake is the problem.
I was the one that asked if I was the one that asked if the lake wanted money.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
But the lake is the problem. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Is there something in the
Looking
lake?
down at the soaking wet requiem.
Something in the lake?
So it's
Did the
something
lake make you a penguin?
Am I gonna be a penguin?
just looks over at Requiem like,
I don't know if masked eyes can move, but if they could, it's just getting wider. Like,
The hole is like it's like the
You're-
Spider-Man mask.
it gets
It
wider,
shouldn't
but
move,
also
but
like
it does.
longer.
All right. Is there like a
Your
physical
mask does
object?
seem more beak-like.
Is there like a physical object inside of the lake, or is it a non-physical thing?
It turns its head
Neither.
as if confused.
I don't think that was a yes or no question.
Well, the first one was, and then the second was the no. So it was a yes or no question. I just explained the no.
It turns its head several ways, and then you hear a weird kind of rumble, kind of a distant about. Not sure what it is. You don't feel a tremor. It's just a sound. It's not an earthquake or anything. Definitely would be strange. Poinsettia, would you roll wisdom for me, please, to see if you recognize it?
Okay. Got a 3.
All right. So something rings a bell about that sound, but you can't quite make out what it is. For the rest of you, it's just a rumble with no undertones. Oh, and I should say, Poinsettia, it's not a good bell being rung, but it's at the tip of your. It's hard to. You just can't get it out. It's a very annoying feeling. It's like a sneeze that won't come out.
I dislike
And
this
for the rest of
rumbling.
you,
Oh, just Punsetti is saying, I dislike this rumbling.
I wish Poinsettia would narrate all the movies. Just that, because it's little. It's a little, but it's exactly the right words.
I asked the penguin, is the rumbling a problem?
Very
Should
determined immediately.
Should we run?
It is once more vague about its answer.
Was that 1 or 2?
Will the rumbling turn Requiem into a penguin faster?
It looks like it's losing faith in this conversation.
I
And
think it counted 5.
beginning to
Is
wobble
that a yes
away.
or a no?
Can I go over to the water and just like collect a little sample?
Sure. You approach it, and the sea of well-dressed birds, as far as you can tell, just kind of wobbles aside. These formal, flightless, slippery pals just make this little entryway for you. They have never seen anything like this, and you can confidently step on through. Do you have anything to take a sample in?
We didn't really go over belongings, but one thing that I do have is a spices kit, but some of those like spices, I keep them in like little jars, but a couple of them are empty, obviously, because I've been using them. So I was going to use one of those.
All right, that's perfectly fine. You take one of those little ones, and you now have a bottle with some pond water, some penguin pond water.
Penguin pond water.
If you like, you may add that to your belongings.
Yes.
You have acquired that, and I hope you're extremely pleased.
I am.
There is. What would be next? Seeing you, these strangers, entering town by the market entrance, at last, someone actually pays attention to you. A Feyborn, leopard-esque young woman, by the looks of her, with very, very characteristically Feyborn-esque, very, very light, very fine hair, almost white, approaches you with spotted, with how shall I explain it? Kind of orange fuzz over her skin and some gray spots, and to complete the leopard-esque look, approaches you and looks at Shelley and looks at the rest of you and says, "Are you here to explain all this?"
Us explain. We were hoping you would explain. We just got here.
Yeah, what's the deal with these birds? Try to steal my money.
Hold on. Okay, hold on. When you say we just got here, what do you mean? And she looks very intently at you.
I mean, we came from down the road. We were coming to the village.
Road. You came down the road.
Yes.
You walked.
I was carried for some
Shelly kind of like picks up her legs. Yeah, I walked.
Good. She strokes her chin for a moment. She goes, Okay, carry on.
Did the penguins just spawn into existence?
Yes.
What do they want?
Money.
Why?
I tried to keep it in. I couldn't.
So they're thieves and liars.
They don't lie because they don't speak. They appear to be landfish.
Landfish.
Pangaling.
Pangolin. She writes that down.
They are birds.
No, they're not.
Birds that swim.
Fish.
Bird. Fish bird.
That's a fish.
Pangolin.
Bird
They are
that
like
swims.
ducks.
Ducks. She writes that down too. Will they appear too?
Mm.
Your guess is as good as ours.
Okay. This is a good amount of information I've collected. I shall ponder this and go collect some more. Don't
I love how I gave
do-
Ponzivia 5 wisdom, and they are still very knowledgeable about the world itself.
Hey, it's great. I have 7 wisdom and am a dumbass. So
Hey, listen.
I have
It's
9
balanced.
wisdom and I know nothing, so.
Listen, wisdom doesn't determine how smart you are, just the sort of the good, well-oiled running speed of your mental faculties. You can be real, you can know a whole bunch of stuff, but be really bad at bringing it up to the surface. So that's the measurement. Also, the dice occasionally dislike certain slimy individuals.
Apparently.
It's perfectly fine. It's not my fault. You can put that die in dice jail and
Alright.
bring a different dice out. And then if it gets the same number 3 times, then they can switch.
I think we should find someone more knowledgeable about the situation.
Has the puddle always been there?
She looks back at you as you was just turning away and says, yes and no. It was like a little pool with nice edges, but the pangolins have messed it up and now it's just a big puddle. So that's a bit of work to get together once we have, of course, killed and eaten all the pangolins. Pongo sticks. Pongo fingers.
No,
Do
I
you
don't
know
think
why
had
they desire
fingers.
money?
No. I have guesses, but they are bad.
Have they tried to take
they
anyone
taking the money
else's money?
somewhere?
Yes. They've tried and succeeded
Where do they take it?
through the pond.
So there's money in the pond.
There's money in the pond.
Yes.
Is the water dangerous?
I don't know. I haven't gone near the pond.
Has anyone
is the
else
rumble?
gone near the pond?
The pangolins. And this person.
Other than that,
No.
and why is that?
We're scared.
Do you know what the
How
rumbling is?
long
I
has
do
this
not
pond
like it.
been here?
I am overwhelmed and confused. Speak one at a time, please.
You may speak first.
All right. How long did you say this pond was here that you haven't even approached?
About. And she looks directly up at the sky and goes, 2 hours.
2 hours.
Yes.
What about the Black Rocks?
Also.
Okay. Right.
Okay.
And the rumbling? Do you know where that comes from?
Yes. Oh, you want to
Where?
know? That's right. There. And she points over the other side of the village, over a tiny little creek that goes through the valley, to the upper plain. It goes down to the village, then back up on the other side. You've gone down. It seems that across the little stream on the uphill slope on the other side, there's a little cave opening, which does look a bit out of place, what with the baking heat and that cave looking like it's from the North Pole.
Did that also show up 2 hours ago?
No, that's actually a water feature. Yes, also, yes.
And let me guess, no one's gone inside.
That would be silly. Yes.
Well, then it would be really irresponsible for us to go in there, right, kids? Okay, let's keep going.
Requiem is already back in the puddle.
Oh my god.
Can you check for money while you're
I
in
was
there?
about to say that.
Is there money in here?
Roll wisdom.
Average. Expected.
All right. So you rolled fitting action with your wisdom. That is okay. So I don't know why I have a table right here. For some reason, I keep everything I need 180 degrees behind me. I was like, let me check. All right. Looking down, you see that the floor of this pond, the bottom of it, is very soggy. It's that kind of mud that you make like poopy castles with. You know, like when you just drip sand, like wet sand over itself, and it just makes a poopy castle. That's the kind of sand that it is, poopy castle sand. Anyway, and that's it. So your little nubs, which the mask have instead of feet, kind of very easily get in there and out of there. So it's difficult to tell what's there. Anything dropped would probably sink under that soft layer of wet sand pretty quickly. But you do, in your stepping about, feel a few weird, hard things kind of bumping down under there. You can't tell if they're coins or they feel like weird bumps. And it appears that as you're over there feeling about with your nubs, you notice more and more pangaloons showing up with a variety of shiny things that they appear to be collecting. One has a locket, and it just kind of swings it as it falls down into the pond. And
I try and catch it.
Sings pretty quickly. You're pretty far away, I should mention. He said he runs back to the pond. The pond is like down the slope. The village is in the middle. So it takes a minute to get from here to there.
All right.
I try to catch it.
I'll be walking down there then.
If you try to catch it, roll dexterity then.
Fitting action.
All right. You catch it out of the air, at which, in response to this, all these pungalins seem extremely angry.
Oh, I let it go into the water. I'm still just below. Oh, wait. How deep is the puddle? That's
like waist deep.
Never mind then. Yeah, I catch it out of the air.
Oh, I was doing a swan dive into it. No.
He would have tried.
Fair enough. Okay, so do you catch it or do you let it go into the water?
No, I catch it.
Okay, you catch it.
I catch it.
At that, all the pungalans seem extremely upset. They start squawking at you.
Pangalang.
Or shooting lasers, depending on your interpretation of that sound.
Pangalang.
Yes, these pingalings.
No, he is just saying that to the
Oh,
penguins.
we're just saying that, so nothing's actually changing. Okay, they appear to be getting slightly more aggressive, but they don't seem to be coming into the water, so you're in there just looking like you're giving a pangolin lecture with your big thing over there.
Have none of them gone into the water this entire time, only putting things in it, or were some of them in the water before?
They were in the water before, then he came in splashing about. Now they don't
Okay.
appear to be coming in.
I have an idea.
I can't believe that. Hold on. I'm not the only one who heard a ding right there.
That was good.
From Alice's sound, from like maybe a phone notification or something. It went ting, and Seto went, I have an idea.
The best of timing.
That was a real thing that happened just now.
It did.
That was a real Did you say that intentionally?
No.
It was just
Okay.
really good timing.
I couldn't I saw the green showing up with a ting, and then my eyes flowed gently over there. And it was like, I have to do that. Okay, cool. Sorry. Go on.
Okay, how big of an area can I affect with the Tower of Illusion?
What level do you have in it?
Level 2.
Then if you're spending a thing at level 2, I'd say like level 1 is just a very small, localized hand trick or small thing you're doing. It would probably be like a small room, if it's a minor illusion, or if it's something big and concentrated, probably like a person size or slightly bigger.
Would I be able to? So the idea is, I'm going to make the illusion of a pond, but the question is, can I also cover up the existing pond with an illusion?
That would be tricky. That'll be 2 different actions, but you can certainly try.
All right.
Right.
Then, would each one require a slot of its own?
Yes.
All right. So
you approach, magic in hand. what do you make there instead? Do you just make it the blend in as the plane it was presumably before?
Yeah, it doesn't even have to look that convincing.
Okay. So, which one do you do first? Make the second one or cover up the existing pond?
Make the second one.
Okay, where do you make it?
Right near the first one.
How near?
Adjacent, basically.
No, I mean like this long or like a meter, you know?
Centimeters.
Okay, so just like all right. Spend 2 Zin slots, one for each of these. And since it's slightly bigger than the range of it would normally be, roll me Zin, please. This is just for the making of the second illusion. Or of the first one.
Ooh, I rolled a 3. That's below fitting.
All right. You managed to cover up the existing pond. It's a bit of a flickery illusion. It's not as convincing as you'd like, but it's if someone is just looking at it at a glance, they definitely see a not pond before they'd see a suspiciously, vaguely echo of a pond. And right next to it is a fairly convincing looking small pond. It seems to have made the illusion a bit smaller, not an exact replica. But being a bit smaller, it does not flicker. It is quite steady, and it is probably going to be there for a short while before flickering out of its own. However, while the pangolins seem very confused by this happening, all of them are still very intent on the spot at which they were already convening and bringing shiny things there. In fact, now instead of throwing them in, they're just laying it down at what they think is the ground, and it, falls down below it because it's just an illusion. They don't seem to mind. They are bringing more things. One brought a shiny coin, which you think might be gold, and it's sprinting toward the little thing to throw it at it.
As it drops it, Tower of Movement, yoink.
Yoink. All right. If you're not spending a slot and you're right there, you don't have to, then roll me Zin. If you are, you don't have to, and you just do it.
I did say I'm walking down there, so I will not spend a slot. I will roll for this.
Go ahead.
11 fits.
That fits. It runs on near the water, flapping its way down. And just with the most heroic spin a Pungaling can muster, flings it, and very expectant as it's about to make it splash in the ground, apparently. And it just stops in the air and slowly moves to the side, where it rests comfortably in your hand. It is indeed a gold coin. And
I'm going to quickly hide it.
All right. From the other end, everyone who's not Seta, roll wisdom to see if you noticed that whole thing happening. How stealthy were you about it? Were you...
I mainly care about the penguins not noticing it.
Okay.
Got a 15?
Above
Exactly 10.
20.
All of you are a perfect front row audience to this unbelievably excited Pin Lagoon, who is sprinting and flapping its way to the pond, so excited to put this gold coin in. It throws in, follows it with its eyes. It's like when you throw a nothing at a dog and the dog is like, and there's no betrayal like Pun Lagoon betrayed. And it just, you see it and it just floats to the side, and it follows it with its eyes. The other Pinligans don't seem to have noticed it, but you all have, and that one certainly has, as it simply floats to the side and rests comfortably in Seto's fingers, where he quickly hides it betwixt the fold of his clothing and pouches.
I would like to try something as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like to take an apple or whatever they sell around here, and I would like to use my alteration tower to make this apple look like it's gold or platinum or something.
Ooh. All right. Do you want to spend a slot on it or the basic action?
Basic action.
Okay, then rolls in, please.
All right. Wait. How do I roll that again?
You roll a d20, and whatever the wiggle stat is, that's how far above and below 10 your fitting range is.
Okay. Yeah, I got a 4, and my stats 2.
All right. So that's below, but so here's what I'll say will happen. You take an apple. You perhaps for lack of concentration or something else, you make it golden, but you make it a rather unconvincing shade of gold. Kind of looks like if someone drew on it with like acrylic paint and tried to draw a sheen on it. It's not really shiny, it just kind of looks painted on shiny like plastic. The Punlagundaguns don't seem to care whatsoever. They immediately fall for it, and 3 or 4 of them have immediately turned to the side and are beginning to come at you to try and pick it out of your hand with their beaks to give it to the designated shiny thing spot. In the meantime, another rumble rumbles through. What do you do?
Requiem,
I'm
why don't
gonna
you
let
move
them
to
have
the
the apple.
other pond?
Oh, sorry. Alice first?
Oh, I'm gonna let them have the apple.
Okay, just take it. All right. They fight among themselves for a moment, and then one gets it and proudly rolls it down into the illusion, which is beginning to flicker away a little with all these Punlagundagans who are interacting with it.
Not to mention, Requiem looks like he's just kind of halfway into the earth, right?
Yeah, you look like you're half buried. But being there and looking at the party rather than the party looking at the pawns, you're the only one who sees this rather large human figure, you can tell immediately by the antlers, who is coming toward you from behind the party, very determinedly, holding what looks like a big shovel. And pretty soon the stomping, the rest of you will hear it too, and just doesn't seem to notice you at all. Just walks right on by, looking angry with a shovel directly toward Requiem, and says,
"You, get out of there.
Get out of where?
There.
Where? Where?
Move."
He approaches to simply pick you up. If you'd like to dodge, now's the time. If not, he's just going to pick you up.
Nah, I'll go for a ride. This is fine.
All right. He picks you up with one hand, being a very large man, and just picks you up, takes you to the side, puts you down like one of those claw machines.
Claw.
The claw. And stands about ankles deep in the illusion and begins digging very determinedly, while another rumble. This time you can kind of feel it in your stomach. Poinsettia, roll me wisdom one more time to see if perhaps this one will rumble something in your memory. Sounds like an attack every time.
Let's see. Got an 18 this time.
The memory has certainly been jarred. and what fell out of the the kicked over and knocked over vending machine that is Ponsetia's memories. It There's something else that lives far in the north that certainly you couldn't quite think of it. The Punligans have been a very big distraction. Now it certainly becomes clear with the rumbling. Luckily, you've never heard it that close to you before, till today. That's a polar bear.
Oh,
The
the
only
rumbling
bear
is bad.
to actively hunt people. Fun fact. That's a real world fun fact, by the way, also. They're the only ones who actively will hunt to eat you. The
This
rest will
is
only
why
do
I
it
like
together.
brown bears, by the way, just as a
Parlor Bart.
The rumbling is a really big bear.
The very large man
A really scary
turns to you.
bear.
The very large man turns to Ponsiera with a big shovel, just halfway through digging, and says, "That's very bad news," and digs twice as fast. And as he digs, the illusion has already now begun to flicker out, and now it has flickered out completely. And you see that what he has dug here is a really decently large hole as the water level continues sinking down.
Hey, that's my money.
Seto, what you see closest to it, it becomes really clear. He's digging down to reveal what, with the water level descending, what seems to be a shrine, a spirit's shrine, stuck in the ground, made of that same very dark stone. It looks like one of those spirits' shrines in their domains far in the north. That's not where they go. Not in the ground, not in the south, not here. And now you notice something else. A gentle snowfall amidst the smoldering heat.
Oh.
Oh.
Whoops.
What was that doing in there?
The man turns around and says, "You tell me."
I don't know. We just showed up.
Oh,
Wait a minute.
Well, I
You
live
tell us. You knew it was here.
I didn't know it was here. I had a theory. Turns out it's true.
He keeps on digging as he's talking to you.
Wait a minute. You knew it was here, pointing a finger at one of the pangolins.
The Pugu's lagoons it looks very innocent and like and pecks the one to its right, and that one looks.
So I'm gonna walk up to the pile of dirt that he's been digging, which I imagine
Usual
has like
suspects, just 4 penguins.
has like coins and stuff in it. I imagine he's dug up some of the valuables.
In fact, doesn't seem to be the case. As he's digging, another penguin drops. Sorry, I said that wrong. Pundaguntaguns said it comes over and drops a little, what looks like a rusty old half coin in there, and it drops down, slips through the soft earth, it rolls down, and the moment it gets quite near this shrine, it just goes up and disappears, is consumed. Which you all know, I'm going to say just because you are residents of the world and you've seen it before. That's what happens when you give a spirit the offerings that it likes the most. Another thing you also know, any decent person in this world gives offerings to their local spirit. It's how you keep the weather nice. It's how you keep the crops growing. How you keep the luck flowing. Even bandits such as Zero would not be.
I ain't a bandit.
Even bandits' friends such as Zero would not be so brash as to dismiss their local spirits along the way. It's just simple. Just, it's very common sense. This shrine, as Zero, you were the nearest and you see it, really doesn't belong here. It does belong with all the symptoms that it's seems to be showing, the northern stones, the snow, the polar bear. And these
Wait,
penguins seem to know what it's like.
what's the spirit around here usually like?
Well, not like this.
Yeah, it's been what, like 2 hours.
Yeah. Well, we've got a shrine to our spirit at the center of the village there. Doesn't look like this. Looks like kind of three wood things and kind of leaning on each other. Yeah, no. Nothing like this.
Requiem will conjure a shovel and begin helping dig it.
All right. If you want it to be, how big is this shovel? Is it like a trowel or a two-handed thing?
We'll go with just basically a trowel, a very small shovel.
Okay, rolls in, please.
Fitting.
Fitting. You conjure up this blob of matter, which looks to be, if you've ever done like one of those acrylic pours, where you just pour paint around and it creates these swirls. It looks like that. It looks like a piece of matter that can't decide quite what it's made of. It kind of swirls about, but it's solid, and it ends up being kind of trowel shaped. What do you do with it?
I start helping dig out the shrine.
All right. He digs on with you. Roll strength, please, in the background. Shelly.
Above fitting.
Oh, well, that's good. That's good, I guess. You're helping a little. You're not hurting at the moment. Shelly, what with being the only person of average height or above in this party, well, this man doesn't see it despite being very tall because he's very concentrated in digging his very important hole. You, however, standing fully tall, you do see something. You see a little, it's barely visible, but you do see a snout poking curiously out of that cave across the valley.
A snout.
A little.
Parlor bird.
Very clear in the whiteness coming out of the shadow.
Okay. Well, we don't want to provoke the bear.
To describe the geography to you, you're on this end of this valley half pipe thing. At the bottom is the village. Right on the other end is the cave. So there is the village between you two.
Okay. There's a whole village, and I can see that.
It's a long village going along the stream rather than
Okay.
thing.
Okay. I would probably warn everybody else, be like, hey, looks like the polar bear might be coming out. Maybe we should do something to maybe keep it in there.
I'm gonna look in my coin purse for a bronze coin, and I'm gonna put it near the shrine.
All right. You've got a few bronze coins. You've got some newer ones and some older ones. Will you put a shiny new one or one of those rusty old ones?
No, I'll give it a shiny.
Okay, give it a shiny one. You put it near?
As opposed to on top? Yeah.
Okay. You put it near it as it sinks into the soft earth and consumes it, not as quickly as it did the gold, but pretty quickly. It is consumed.
I kind of like dig through my stuff to see what I might have. And along my travels, I'm sure I've come across some like rare like herbs or spices. I don't know what kind of thing we would have in this particular world, but I would probably want to grab one of my rarer ones, maybe just like sprinkle some in there.
All right. You sprinkle some spice and nothing happened at all. This spirit does not seem to appreciate rare spice.
Wow. Okay.
It appears that money value is not the thing that is the determiner of success for this spirit.
Well, that's rude.
It's not one of those shallow spirits. Please.
Clearly, it doesn't appreciate the finer things.
Could I
Yeah.
maybe roll wisdom here? Because Ponzetti has been to the north and might know about the spirit.
For this
Question
particular
mark.
one, so I should say it's spirits can occupy places as small as a well or as big as a city, and they've all over the place. When you travel, you're going sometimes through a spirit's domain every day or other day. So it's very unlikely, but you can certainly roll for it.
All right. Let's hope this works. Let's see. 17.
All right. While you have not seen this particular spirit, you have met similar ones, not just in the north, but about. And you managed to conclude what, by the looks of things, this one likes shiny things. And it's definitely not supposed to be here. In fact, you've never seen a spirit. They don't meddle in each other's business. It's very strange that there is 2 shrines in the same valley for different spirits, with kind of these little reality clashing here. Not supposed to happen, not a thing that normally happens. And all these symptoms imply to you that it's whatever the north is, it's like somewhere slightly above Tikina, above where the masked spawn, a bit further to the north. That's where this place seems to be, and it seems to be migrating into this valley. Shrines, more than anything else, do not move. The spirit has its shrines. That's where it stays. So that's something you know. On the opposite end of the valley, the snout has now become a head, and the head has a neck, and the neck has a body. The entire front half of the polar bear has now come out into the unfamiliar, smoldering heat, and it sees many children playing with palungaloons down along the stream. And if polar bears could like rub their tummies, that's the vibe you're getting, where it's like, ooh, hoo, hoo. It bares its teeth and begins slowly walking down that slope. The man who's in front of you, who has been digging with the wonderful help of Requiem, has now uncovered it down to the very base, and it's the shovel just ding against stone, just ding, can't move on. And he looks down, pushes some of the mud aside, and says,
Like I thought. See that? That stone is black as that one over there. Yeah. It still makes no sense, but it makes no sense the same way that I thought. Holy shit, that's a bear!
and he immediately drops the shovel.
Can I try something?
Always.
Requiem just kind of tosses his little lump of whatever aside. Kind of
Business time.
sits cross-legged at the base of the shrine. So I don't know who you are. I don't know if I have a right to ask this, or like if you should really like who belongs in what area. That's not my expertise. That's you. But there's a bear. It's gonna eat some people. That's not good. So I give you this, and I am going to use my Tower of Creation, and I'm going to spend a Zen slot to permanently conjure a kind of lump of like pure shining gold.
Wow. So I should tell you, when you're making stuff like that, it's very rarely the exact, atomic composition of that material, really. But
I
when it
think I
comes to
could.
visual and feeling and it's going by intuition is using that. But you can certainly make a pretty convincing orb of shininess and gold.
From what I've seen of what they like, which is shiny, it could be pyrite. As long as it glitters, we are good.
If it glitters, in this case, it is gold. All right.
Yep. And I'm aiming for glitter. So I give you this if you can make a bear not go away and not eat a bunch of children in a very hot climate.
All right. So here's what I'll tell you. You give it, and immediately, barely you've made it, and it already, from side to side, has been consumed with a little sizzle along the way, until there is absolutely nothing in your hand, but it looks like the least shiny little speckles that came off it. When it comes to spirits, they're pretty enigmatic. They rarely do things immediately or directly, but offering good things to the spirit that it likes usually makes it like you better, which makes you a bit luckier. But more importantly, it makes the spirit kinder to your towers. Spirits can like a tower or dislike a tower. If you're in a domain of a spirit that really dislikes the Tower of Distance, teleporting is going to be harder. You're going to find that you're going shorter distances than you would have started with. This kind of gift, seeing that you spend a slot on it, might have made it more amicable to one of your towers. You can't know which until you try, but yeah. And the bear, at this point, is progressing down to the point where now you can start hearing that people in the village have definitely noticed and have definitely begun screaming and scattering away and attempting to run indoors. The bear is about 2 minutes away from just down the slope from the village.
Do we
You're
stab
about
it
a
or do
minute
I
away.
set it on
I would
fire?
like to try something.
Go ahead.
I would like to try something. I'm gonna grab another one of those apples, and this time I'm going to turn it into meat.
All right. That'll be pretty difficult. So you'll have to spend a slot and roll for it. So it'll potentially fail. But you can definitely try.
All right.
No worries. No worries.
Thank you, 5.
I got an 11.
All right. You're holding a rather convincing feeling and, I should mention, smelling meat apple, which is not a sentence I thought I'd say today. The moment you do,
Yep.
you
Just gonna
perform that.
chuck the meat apple at.
So as you do, and before
Go
you
ahead.
manage to chuck it, the human man looking over sees that you are altering it in your hand, and immediately sort of drops the shovel and says,
Wait, wait, wait. Don't do anything, I just figured everything out. Well, I haven't, but maybe I have. Okay. I have an idea, but I need you to not throw the meat apple right now, okay?
Just holding the meat apple in throwing position.
it says,
Okay, cool. Okay. So, I'm gonna run down there to the village to, where the bear is going, and I'll be back in I'm gonna run to where the bear is going, and I'll be back in 30 seconds. Just whatever you do, just keep the meat apple. It's really important, okay? Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nod.
Got
And
it. Keep the meat apple.
he sprints down. As he is sprinting down, he seems to be noticing the bear and begins to make erratic movements like,
Ooh, hey, look at me. Tasty.
and runs down in between the buildings, where you hear some yelling, some screaming, some intentional, some just pure heat of the moment, and the bear has disappeared between the buildings. Pretty soon, the man is running back out after you, followed pretty swiftly by the bear, who's gaining on him, definitely, who says, "I'm gonna fix everything, get him off me really quick," as he runs past you. The bear is a few seconds after him. Anyone can respond to this as long as it's fast.
Shelly takes her halberd and swings it directly at the bear's neck.
Roll strength.
Got a 15?
You got a 15? The bear is going to roll against that. As he sprints past, you just executioner style take it down the bear's neck, who immediately, he's not dead, but immediately rolls over to the side with a pretty deep cut down. And the man turns around and says, okay, that worked way better than I thought. I have another theory. And he runs at the bear, takes out his knife, and just sticks it in the bear cut, in the cut that you've made. And then he puts on a glove and starts poking around there in that insides. Just really, really takes a good step and pulls something out. It appears to be an amulet of some sort.
Dibs.
It says,
You can't call dibs on this. You know what this is?
and
It's mine now.
He turns it to you, and you recognize, and you may recognize it from the quick start guide as well. It is the symbol of the Tower of Distance. Seems to be an old medallion of some sort, representing some very powerful Tower of Distance sorts. You can see it there. It's the compass-looking thing. And he says,
Dibs.
None of you can call dibs on this.
this is supposed to... And it disappears immediately. Just whoop, pops out and goes,
Oh.
Well,
My working theory was it got eaten by the bear and it started teleporting things and the shrine came and the spirit came with the shrine and that was my working theory, but I guess it's...
and he turns around and the bear is gone.
oh,
Is the shrine gone as well?
Not right now. But
Oh.
turning around again, that boulder right there and the cave are both gone. He goes,
Oh. Okay. Well,
Parngalinks?
one of them comes over, flaps very close to you, pecks you on the arm, just doop, and disappears.
I don't feel so good, Mr. Masked.
Parngalinks.
Going to grab
No.
a penguin. Gotta grab a
grab
penguin
one.
before it vanishes.
It vanished. You grab
Yeah,
it, but
just
pretty
grab
soon
one.
in your arm. Mm-hmm. Simply, like tears in rain, it is gone. But at the very least, the village is safe from polar bears. But they will always have that wonderful memory where pen lagoons came around in the middle of summer. I think we're out of
Yay.
time,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
would have given it more of a
that's a good
would have given it
pause.
more of a wrap up, but I think we're out of time.
Parngalinks.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. Oh, sorry. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Have a great day. I personally like all of you.
Great game, everyone. Thank you guys so much for playing with us. And thank you, audience, for joining us on this wild Playtest Tuesday ride of Zin Never Dies. A couple of announcements before we finish up for the afternoon. It's definitely nighttime. I don't know why I said afternoon. Whoops! Before we finish up for the night, I would like to say that this week, tomorrow, there is a rerun of Rule Benders on Thursday. We have a metagame episode, and our next Playtest Tuesday is going to be a playtest of the Cosmic Playbook, which is a Masks A New Generation playbook, which is a Powered by the Apocalypse game. So we're going to be testing out a very specific new playbook within the universe of Masks. And I'm really, really excited to see this game come to life. And that's going to be in 2 weeks. And so definitely keep an eye out for that Facebook invite, for that Discord invite, if you're interested in joining us for a Playtest Tuesday. I think that's it from me. I'm going to go ahead and sign off for the night. But just remember, no matter what types of polar bears or other types of evil, dark creatures, strange totems you face, keep rolling the dice. Bye!